minimum number you should be aiming for throughout this tournament. Root Riders is the play here on the army with this Spirit Charge. I mean, if we're going Root Riders, with the exception, I think, of one attack today, it's all been Spirit Charge. But he's going to go in and try to take this Town Hall down. Oh, wait, RC. Oh, wait, no, he's going to path the RC away from the Town Hall. I guess that would make a little bit more sense there. And then he can go with the roots through the Town Hall if he so chooses.
Yeah, but so far I would say bad news for the attacker because the Spirit Fox is already down. Okay, luckily he's getting the recall in, but seeing all of the traps, that means to me that they were predicting this entry. The Giant Arrow is for sure an interesting choice, but making sure that with the Lock Launcher there's a lot of damage. But that Giga Bomb is triggering early and dealing a lot of damage to those troops.
Yeah, those Giga Bombs are tough, but he did use the Queen's action figure equipment to get that Giant out, but that Giant is getting like no value. I'm kind of surprised we didn't. Okay, I guess the Queen is just in charge of getting the Town Hall. I thought this would be more of like a full send towards the Town Hall, but he's just really trying to funnel out that side and push everything, kind of just drive by the Town Hall here. A little bit of an interesting choice. Minion Prince is working on that Ricochet Cannon, however the Expo has range on him. Let's see if this Yeti can get the Town Hall down. I don't think it will.
The Minion Prince ability went to the outside. He caught pretty much no beatings except the Wizard Tower and the air defense itself. That is terrible news for him. He used that equipment to have the slowdown onto this entire back end on the right side. Tano went down at the same time, but that Minion Prince ability missing will hurt him on the back end a lot.
Yeah, this one just kind of feels disjointed. I mean, it seems like he had a plan, but everything's just kind of going off center a little bit here. The Yeti did end up getting that Town Hall down. He's got a lot of base and a lot of heavy defenses, and I don't see too many troops remaining there in the middle. Looks like the Royal Champion is throwing those rocket spears, which should help thin this out a little bit, but man, there's still a lot for this Queen to deal with.
Yeah, there's still so much on this back end. The Minion Prince going down is going to hurt for sure, but the Royal Champion maybe able to pick up a couple of more percentages, but 3-star seems to be out of reach, especially now with the Black Mine hitting. And this means that this is going to fall short. But on the bright side, this is, I think, a quite decent percentage, if I see this correctly. He has another Super Barbarian to pick up another building. So that is getting close to the 90% mark, which is not too bad. That is quite solid.
Yeah, and it's a tough spot to be in, that #1 spot. You only get 8 minutes to plan out this attack. So like I kind of mentioned earlier in the day, you're really going to go with your go-to army, maybe add in a few little tech pieces here and there. But for the most part, he knew he was going to run roots at a base that he liked. 91%, even though it's not a triple, I think that's still very respectable. 92% here as the Phoenix grabs another building. I think that's a pretty good start to the war, honestly.
Yeah.
Darkstar went with a 3-star with the Root Riders. He's got roots again. Let's see if he can get another triple on the board.
Yeah, and he's bringing some lightning in that mix as well with that Warden Walk. Really interesting. So how is he going to utilize those spells? He has as well an Earthquake, which he can use on top of. I mean, that army composition looks, I mean, the Root Riders are what we are used to. And as well, he has having the Warwrecker selected. What is going on?
Well, I was gonna hope you knew it too, because you're the former pro, you know these things, but maybe try to pick up a little bit of extra value with the zaps. The Earthquake can obviously weaken something up, but this is a really interesting play here for Darkstar. We did see Kingsman have a little bit of success with a Warden Walk into Root Riders. Here comes those lightnings and then a giant arrow through the middle to pierce the poison spell tower along with that multi. Okay, so that was the target to thin those out. And then maybe we see, he's got 2 overgrowths again. Maybe we see those overgrowths kind of stall up that other multi. Let's just keep an eye on what he does with those spells. This has got a lot going. And look at this, an old school wall wrecker coming in now.
Yeah, and for everyone wondering why he's using this siege machine, why not, for example, the Blim? Well, the Warwrecker cannot get baited by Black Mine, so he's going to reach that town pretty much guaranteed, and that's just a safer approach. If there's no damage against the siege when it comes down to defensive buildings, it's just a safer approach of getting that town hall and the troops towards the town hall. But meanwhile, on the other side, I think we have lost already a lot of the Root Riders, which means those troops are now relying on their own to get through all of those walls.
Town Hall still needs to fall. Also, those Yetis are going down. Yeti mites are pop. Oh, the Town Hall didn't fall. The Battle Builders kept the Town Hall up. This could be trouble for Darkstar, as he's got to send the Royal Champion up there. She has ability. There is an overgrowth. I think the Royal Champion should be able to secure this after she comes out of Tornado. She should be okay here, but that definitely wasn't the plan.
Okay. I was a little bit scared of the overgrowth running out too early, but Town Hall going down. The second star is secured, but 3 stars are really tricky to get at this point, especially with such a powerful defense on the back end still. The King ability is still there, but he won't be able to one-shot those key defenses. And this seems to be the first defense for DIZI Group, and based on how the attack's looking like right now, I think it will be a worse percentage.
Yeah, I think I would agree there. The King still does have ability, so that'll help out a little bit. What was the percent? 92 on the last one. But there's just the King's fighting the enemy King. There is a lot of snakes there, though. As long as they can get through here. Okay, 89. It's not going to be too far off. It's going to be a little bit lower, but only a 3% difference. So we got ourselves a ball. A miss could leave that door open. It's going to be Root Riders again for Qian coming in on this attack.
Yeah, let's double check the equipment. We're seeing again the giant arrow for the Archer Queen. That is interesting. We typically have seen mostly the double epic combination between the magic mirror and the action figure on the Archer Queen, but this time around he's going to use that giant arrow. Most of the time you're using that for defenses, to take that out to create that pathing for the Root Riders. Something like sweepers, something like archer towers, or builder huts you can typically take down with that equipment. There we go. Oh, the log launcher. Okay, I was already wondering. Okay, because that Inferno Tower did not go down.
Yeah, I was looking too and thought maybe I missed something, but yeah, okay, I see it now. The log launcher is going to come in and finish that off. You got to keep an eye on that Royal Champion. She's going to have range on that log launcher here soon. She might pop it before it gets too many logs off here, as the battle builder's on it. Oh, yeah, the Inferno stays standing here, Itsu.
If the Yeti mice can take it out, we have now a couple of Yeti mice coming in. But I mean, the pathing is already created, so I think it's not that big of a deal. With the overgrowth and the core, there's no other way of actually going around the top left side towards the town hall. The troops are controlled quite nicely. But they are on their own now with that Royal Champ together.
Yeah, but they do have the Warden's ability protecting them. That Eternal Tome, plus the Healing Tome, will give them a little bit of hit points back here. Great freeze on the Town Hall and the Monolith. The air defense is picking off a few of the oh no, wait, that's one of the boogers. I thought it was one of the healers. That's one of the boogers. The healers are back, but look at the bottom side of that base down there. He's got a tough task ahead of him. If he can keep this healing nice, it's gonna be good, but the healers fall to the Inferno. Look at that red air bomb farm in the middle of the base. Everything's falling apart here for Qian so far.
Yeah, but again, if you're not getting those 3 stars, it is all about on how many percentage you can save the attack, because percentage is such an important thing within those matches. And I'm so surprised, disappointed, and everything at the same time. We have seen now so many times that the Royal Champion during her rocket spear is dying. I'm just wondering, why are the pros not either using earlier or just using complete different equipment? Like, what is the point of the rocket spear? Like, you're using 2 rocket spears and the Royal Champ always going down with her ability. Like, I don't understand it personally. We have seen that so many times now. While the King, though, is still picking up a couple of percentages, which is really nice, especially with still having another Super Barbarian left to deploy.
Yeah, you're right, Itsu. Maybe a Hog Puppet could be a little bit of a better choice there, provide a little bit of extra tanking. This one's working up into the 90s, which Qian had an 88% on his last attack. So it is a slight improvement up to another 92% for DIZI Group. And they are
now with their next attack, and they're coming in with the air, with the dragons, and as well with the Royal Champion charge again.
And look, he did this last time as well. He came in with the huge spirit charge. I think he had all but 1 invisibility. I think he had an earthquake in there, electing to go with an overgrowth. So he likes these deep spirit charges. And remember, last time he got the 3-star with it. One of the rare times we've seen dragons 3-starring in this tournament. However, if you're comfortable with an attack, why go away from it? Great overgrowth there is going to shut down that whole compartment. Now the Royal Champion could surge even further into the base. She's setting up really nicely here. There goes a Quake to weaken up the Town Hall and those Fire Spitters. Here's that Haste Vial. This World Champion is on a tear, Itsu.
I'm just right now wondering if he can take down the Town Hall. I mean, if he's getting the timings right, the Fox is still alive. Okay, but instead he's going for the Inferno Tower now. Getting that... Oh, okay.
There he goes.
Now the Town Hall again. But I don't think that he can get that now, right? Timing-wise. There's a couple of shots. He gets another Invisoration, though. Oh, that is going to be so close. There's Bitterhuts on it. There's Bitterhuts!
Oh, what's that?
What?
Oh, man. Hawk, by the skin of his teeth, gets that Town Hall down, and now the dragons can soar through the skies. He does have that siege barracks down on the bottom side to accompany his king with the giant gauntlet. A rare piece of equipment we don't see it used as much these days, but it is going to deflect some of that damage from the king, allowing him to take down the monolith. Now these dragons, they've spread a little bit thin here, and keep an eye on that defense, Etsu. We've talked about it numerous times today. That merged multi-tower is a nasty one, but the Warden ability will protect and heal, should help these dragons out a little bit.
You would think that, right? But with the Minion Prince defending that defense, all of the dragons are pretty much gone, which were at the top side. There's a couple of them reinforcing from the far right side, but there is now traps inside the core. More and more dragons are going down, and well, he has 2 ground experts on the back end. There's still a Scatter, there's still Tesla, Archer Tower, and as well the Poison Tower. This won't be an easy finish.
Oh, you're right. There's still 1 Inferno Tower to be deployed. That scatter shot is really tough over there, especially protected by the storage on that far side. There's no real easy way to it. All right, he's got the Inferno Dragon over there. It's really all on the Minion Prince and the Grand Warden here, but he's going to have to hope that they go around that Giga Bomb so they don't take too much damage, but they're going to go right through it. And a sinking air mine. That's painful. Lost the Warden, and the Minion Prince is just about down. I don't think this one's going to cross the finish line.
No, but again, we are counting the percentages. That is what we're getting excited for right now, because he is crossing the 92%. The Minion Prince staying alive, and as well Sneezy getting some more percentage in is crucial here. 93% for DIZI. About that earlier, it seems like that those 2 teams know each other super well and have predicted most of those entries so far. So which team can pull ahead and get that first so crucial 3-star?
Ryuta did have a 3-star in DIZI Group's win over Na'Vi. Let's see if he can do the same here with the Root Riders. But man, yeah, thinking about that Town Hall now falling 92%, 93%, that would have probably been like a 75% if that Town Hall stays up with all the damage being output onto the Dragons. He's got some healers in here, so it'd be interesting to see if we see a little bit of a Warden walk here, maybe even those healers just thrown on top of the Roots just to kind of provide all that extra healing on top. Which I think that's the normal case here, but I'm always looking out for that Warden charge now. I think you're usually going to start with the Warden charge, but that's always in the back of my head since we've seen it a few times so far.
Yeah, I feel like the Warden would have been deployed earlier, so this one is just the healers behind the Root Riders. We have as well a couple of Spring Traps on the outside versus the Ice Golems at the bottom side. And now everything has to enter into the Town Hall. The pathing is set up beautifully, but that Rage Tower behind the Town Hall, that is scary. I've talked, that's always for me like the number to really showcase how scary hard mode is. But that merged multi-tower in the Rage like setting is having like 1,236 DPS. That to me is just absurd how much damage that thing can deal.
Yeah, it's an intimidating force, that's for sure. Royal Champion not working on that Fire Spitter, but look at that Furnace in there, Itsu. He's got to get that Furnace down. Those things can be such a nuisance. The Royal Champion goes over and picks it off after the Overgrowth, and now he's going to get those Rocket Spears going in, but keep an eye on that Queen. Ooh, Royal Champion does get all those spears off. He's got a pretty good force moving through the middle of the space. Now they're going to pop to the outside as those walls weren't quite open yet. But he's got a lot of troops in here, still with some hero abilities as well. This is looking pretty strong for Ryuta.
Yeah, and I feel like one of the most crucial things really is, if you want to see how successful an attack is, how long are those healers alive? Because I feel like a lot of times, especially in hard mode with the Town Hall and the splash and everything within the base, healers are going down so quick. And if they go down early, Root Riders are actually, they're not surviving that long. But with those healers staying alive for so long, he knows that he has done an incredible job of getting that base completely out there. Because Bash took it, I mean, he can take down another base with the remaining army. Then So can he show up now when his team needs him the most? Because a 3-star will be so important now for the DIZI group, for DIZI, because they are behind right now.
They do need a triple here, and he went with the super witches, and it was a time fill. It was a 98% last time. He's going to go back to the Root Riders, which I'm assuming he's very, very familiar with, because let's be honest, if you're playing hard mode, you have to have experience with the Root Riders, unless you're Tribe and then you just stick to the skies. They seem to be pretty good with those dragons. But Mask is going to go ahead and start in here with that Spirit Charge, the most common opening we've seen throughout the entire tournament. Pulled those skeletons away, which didn't really necessarily need to happen there because the Electro Boots would just melt those skeletons. So I'm not sure why those were pulled up there. You're going to go ahead and recall the RC. He does have that little funnel cleared out right there. Now all of the Root Riders can go right up the middle, right through the Town Hall.
To answer your question with the skeletons, sometimes the Royal Champion targets her, or targets them or runs behind them or something. So even with the Electric Boots would take them out, there's sometimes some weird interactions. So that's why you just don't take the risk, just lure them away, just play it safe. That's kind of the approach there. But for the attack itself, the Tornado Trap is rotating him away from the Giga Bomb, which means he's going to hit that after the Warden is running out. But the Giants and everything from that Siege Machine actually triggered out of that, which means the Root Riders stayed safe.
Yeah, good call up there. I understand that now because I've had my Royal Champion chasing some skeletons. I guess I need to step up my game a little bit and play like a pro here. That Furnace spitting out those Fire Spirits, I don't know if he doesn't really have a way to deal with it. And with that Overgrowth being there, those Fire Spirits are just going to come out non-stop. They are such a nuisance. It's not really that they're going to deal a lot of damage, although they can take out a pack of healers, no problem. It's more that they just distract those troops and can really just allow those troops to take more and more damage. The Royal Champion's going to finally go over and take that Furnace out. Those Roots are kind of trailing behind. The King's out in front. I kind of like what's going on here. He's got a lot of protection. The Royal Champion's kind of on her own, but everything else on the left side is pretty well protected, but he's coming into the strongest part of the base now.
Yeah, and again, we have that scary Merged Multi-Tower on this back end. That's why he's going to freeze things up. So that's King and Queen ability to make the attack work. Oh my, all of those red mines getting triggered. Perfect right there. And now we have the healing on this back end. And something which I love about this equipment combination of the Archer Queen between the Giant and as well the healers, the passive healing for the Archer Queen is just so nice. But time, when it's having so much healing and less DPS, can be an issue. But with 30 seconds left and a Super Barons for the back end, Mask is doing exactly what his team needs him the most for, and that is smashing some bases. 3 stars are in. What an incredible placer on the outside already in the beginning. That can be a nice difference maker. But he is in. It's a Royal Champion charge again. No big surprise. But can he execute this? And take a look at that. There's already a lot of traps which are deployed versus this Royal Champion charge.
And that's one of the things as a base builder. If you can predict a Royal Champion charge, man, if you can blow that up and stop it early, which the Spirit Fox is down, Din could be in a little bit of a pickle here. He does still have 2 Invises and the recall, so he can still get the value he's maybe looking for here, but could have maybe got more. But I think you know that risk when you go into the Giga Bomb, that you might lose that Spirit Fox a little bit earlier than anticipated. So I think that's all part of the calculation. Queen and King are going to go ahead and join the party with the Siege Barracks, rather they're on the right side. And here come all of the Root Riders. It's a long trounce all the way down through the Town Hall. But Din is looking to make an impact here for DIZI Group.
Yeah, and it's always like some type of gamble if the base is symmetrical, except the Giga Bomb. What side is trapped? Like, which side has more traps on there? And typically, people like to trap the other side where the Giga Bomb is not there. So it's always like a 50-50 call of, okay, which side is trapped? And, well, there were a couple of traps, which means the Spirit Fox was going down. But now it's all about this push, as you said, because the Town Hall's on the back end and he needs to make it all the way to secure not just the first, but as well the second star.
Yeah, but that's the one thing you use that Overgrowth for. You shut down just a part of the base and it just funnels those troops exactly where you need to. But the troops have a lot of work to go. I'm a little bit concerned about this one. I think he's got enough to get to the Town Hall here, but he needs to open up that wall first off, and he really doesn't have anything to do. I don't know, maybe this Town Hall doesn't get taken out. I'm a little bit concerned for Din.
I am really concerned. I mean, we have now Fire Mites jumping in there. But the Town Hall is really far away. I mean, the Queen ability is still there. The Warden going down. A 1-star would be so unfortunate here in this moment. We already said that he had not the best attack in the first match, but can those Boogers somehow carry this? We have the Fire Mites now for the Town Hall. Can they take that out? How many more are there left? Are there more to come? It seems like those were the last remaining Fire
the
Mites.
furnace is gone.
I mean, they're stacking now the damage, but is that enough? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's going to be a 1-star here, and DIZI Group are going to surrender the lead and surrender in a big way with a 1-star, 75% maybe by the time this Archer is done. And the disappointment in Denden's face, you gotta feel bad for him, but that's the risk of going across the base like that, especially in hard mode, Itsu. It's a big risk that a lot of times is going to pay off and work in your
problem in not just this last attack, but as well in many attacks, which we have seen so far. So yeah, I really hope that that is something which is going to be improved then on, and I guess time will give the pros more time to then work on the planning on that. But Cynthia now is up next with the haste valve this time around to get as much value as possible early on with this Royal Champion. And he's not going to recall, he's just going to have a really long Royal Champion charge.
Yeah, he's going to look to push her in through the middle of this base, try to thin out some of those significant defenses, and they're getting the monolith is huge. But he does have those ice golems in there, and look, he makes the monolith invisible there because the passive damage from those electro boots will take it out. Now he's got to keep her surging forward, keep her away from these ice golems. Oh no, she's going to go back, so it's going to eat up a little bit of his time, but he's going to go ahead and overgrowth to push her towards that poison, the Giga Bomb, and the Infernos there, just trying to get more and more damage out of this Spirit Charge.
And the impressive thing is that the Fox is still alive at this stage of the attack, like 1 minute into the attack. That is not easy to do, so really nicely done by him. She's now going to go down, the same as the Royal Champion, but he has gotten quite a bit of value here. Where is he going to enter? I assume he's going to enter from the left side, because on the right side there's still the Sweeper left standing, and that's exactly what is going to happen. He has the King, no Archer Queen.
Interesting here. That's a bold choice, taking a lot of the damage off the board. The Queen, one of the strongest units in all of the game. However, the King, with all that tanking, can definitely be a difference maker. We'll have to see where the King gets deployed from, maybe up on the bottom right side there to add some tanking when the Dragons make their way there. Actually, no, King goes on the complete opposite side of the base, looking to push in there. Okay, if the King can get those couple air defenses, that could be really, really nice. And keep an eye on these Dragons as they kind of split into two little packs here, and the Dragons are going to go around and maybe even get pushed by that Sweeper and have to fight the Queen as well.
Ooh, the Spiky Ball getting
Sweeper
at least one of those air defenses, and the Sweeper, as you said. We have now the Super Minions reinforcing. We had the Minion Prince taking down the bottom side, and as well the defending Minion Prince. Now it's all about the back end and how many traps there are still located, because Dragons are going down quickly.
Yeah, and this is one of those tough things where you try to do like these little separate compartments, separate sections of the attack, and in hard mode it just doesn't work as well. Not saying that it can't work, it's just so much harder to pull that off because the defending or the attacking heroes deal so much less damage, and then the defending heroes deal so much more damage. So when you're running into that brick wall of heroes, it is just so tough. However, it is going to be a 92-ish, maybe 93% 2-star, which is going to be really, really nice for Cynthia and DIZI, as they only need 2 stars essentially here to win out after that big falter from Denden, 75%. So another significant 2-star should win them this wars. That one's at 93, so the percentage advantage is in their favor. They will just go down to the lower bracket and they will play tomorrow. But obviously you want to survive in the upper bracket for as long as possible and get that extra life as long as possible. And here come Root Riders with the Spirit Charge for Zken.
Yeah, I mean, the pathing of the Royal was just perfect. The aura dealing so much damage since the beginning right away. Perfect pathing into that compartment. He's using the Invis spell slot quite a bit to make sure that the Fox is staying alive. This is going to survive. It's not going to survive that giant bomb, which means the investment was, I'm not sure if it's worth it. I think the Poison Tower is not going down either. The same as the Multi-Arch Tower, or is it? Nope. That was a bit greedy.
Yeah, that's a tough one for sure. Now the Furnace is going to go ahead and spit out those Fire Spirits. The Headhunter is going to come over and slow the Queen down, but she gets it taken care of. Here come all the 2 Ice Golems, but that Furnace is still in there, just dealing out all those little Fire Spirits. Skeleton Spell goes in to distract the Monolith. Great play right there. Yeah, the Furnace is still spawning those Fire Spirits, and it's going to spawn them for a while. It's only just under half health now. It's got a long way to go. This is another big risk attack, but let's see what Zekin can do. Can he get the 3-star?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he needs a 3-star. If he gets a 2 or if he gets a 1-star, it doesn't matter. He needs that 3-star. So if he takes all that risk, it is completely fine, because only a 3-star matters at this point and can turn around the match for him and his team. He has a lot of abilities left, and I hope that the Royal Champ is not going to die again in any ability. He's using the ability now, which is a bit earlier, and she's staying in behind the troops more, but the Town Hall is outranging her, it seems.
Yeah, she's taking a little bit of damage there. She at least gets her rocket spears off there, which that's good, but Itsu, where'd all the troops go? The roots are gone, Itsu. This is looking rough again for DIZI Group.
Yeah, I feel like the Town Hall is such a strong defense in hard mode because of the bonus DPS and the long range. Having it on the back end is, it's always a rough, I don't know, it's always rough. I feel like going into the Town Hall typically is always the better approach, and it's really showing. I mean, as well, as we said, this being a 1-star, it could have been a 99% 2-star, it would not matter, so they had to take that risk. And in the end, it did not work out for them. They had an incredible start into this match, but in the end, going to finish this off. And as we already mentioned, all he needs is a 1-star to get this victory versus DIZI Group and make sure that they're continuing in this upper bracket.
All right, here he goes, working his way in with that Spirit Charge, going for the Town Hall. Just exactly what I was talking about. Using the Spirit Charge to take that Town Hall down. It's a major threat. I mean, dealing 20% more damage. Yeah, it doesn't have the poison like it used to at the lower Town Hall levels, or other Town Hall levels, I should say. But man, it can still dish out so much damage. And when you're adding 20% damage on top of that, it is very, very significant. So Fluxy identifies that, but also in this situation, a 1-star wins him this war. So he goes ahead and actually secures the victory with that Spirit Charge. Kind of a nice little play, and having that in the book as well.
Yeah, having that once already secured is for sure a nice thing to have. Now he's entering with those Root Riders on the flank of this Town Hall, having the King and Queen pushing everything further than into the right direction. But with this Overgrowth, everything is going to run out of this core again. And depending on when the Overgrowth is going to run out, those healers are in really, really big danger.
Yeah, that's tough. Let's see it. Oh yeah, here it goes. The Fire Spitter is going to start shooting. Remember, that Fire Spitter is going to just shoot through all the troops. You do see those barrels coming in from the troop launcher. I love that animation. I love seeing those barrels just fly all the way across the base. Let's get the main Fire Spitter threat out of the way. World Champion's in there working. Remember, she did use her ability earlier because she had the haste vial on her, so she doesn't have to worry about any wasted rocket spears. But with the 2nd-star secured, this one is well put away. So DIZI will go ahead and move forward in the upper bracket, sending their family mates, DIZI Group, down to the lower bracket to play tomorrow. So a tough loss for DIZI Group, but we saw what they were capable of. They put up 12 stars in their match against Na'Vi earlier. It's not like they shouldn't be here, or like they're always missing like this. This was just a rare instance where they just were kind of off their game, and going up against DIZI, the main clan, it's just a tough task, man. That squad is just stacked with some veteran players.
Yeah, and as well, you have to as well then give shout out to the other side when it comes down to such defenses. Maybe not saying, okay, that was because of the base builder 1-star, but in general that the attacker had to take such risks that a 1-star was even possible. And yeah, just huge shout out to the base builders of DIZI, doing a great job of predicting the entries of DIZI Group. And we have seen it already earlier today with, for example, Synchronic. I mean, Synchronic have really struggled in their first upper bracket match to then really have a solid match versus Tribe in the lower bracket. So base building is such a big deal, obviously, as well. And a team can as well have like an off match, so that is always something to be considered. In the end, DIZI is going to take the victory on this one with 11 stars, which some of those entries bait some of those tendencies and see if maybe some teams having the tendency of not dropping test runes. So red mine farms on the outside might be worth it. Otherwise, Oro, and we have Team Electros and Vedic Esports now facing up right in a couple of minutes to decide who is then going to have to face DIZI in the upper bracket final and who is having to face Na'Vi in the lower bracket.
Yeah, that's going to be a crazy good matchup. I mean, look what Vatic did in their matchup against Tribe, 14 stars.